Hi, and welcome to the Land of You. So, this is a practice that helps us to take care of every part of ourselves. And I really enjoy doing it because we get to color and we get to use our imagination and we get to be really kind to ourselves. So, we get to be a good friend. So, the Land of You. The idea of this practice is that we imagine that we have a whole land inside us. And we all have so many different parts of us, right? So some parts of you smell delicious. Some parts are prickly. Some parts are very adventurous. Some parts are loving. Some parts are very quiet. Some parts are kind or have sharp teeth, or are ready to explode sometimes. And with this practice, we learn to be a really wise ruler. So we learn to take care of the whole land of us. And so you can get paper and markers or crayons or pencils or paints or whatever you enjoy. You can do this by cutting out shapes as well, which is a lovely way to create a landscape. So I'm going to use a marker and pink paper. And so we have some drawing time together where we get to explore the land of you. And I explain a little about how it might work. So if I think about a landscape, that is me. So I might start with drawing the seashore, because when I'm along a beach or close to the sea, I find that a very peaceful place to be. There's something that's so big and accepting about the sea that I really enjoy. So I might draw a little shoreline. And then I might have the word peace beside it. So I've just begun my map of the land that is me. So here's my little beach, little waves, and it's a peaceful place to be. So it's a peaceful part of me. And then, well, there are mountains, obviously, because we know the mountains inside us very well. So I'm going to choose kind of snowy capped mountains, which I'm not often. Often I'm quite lush green mountains. But I'm imagining standing high up on a mountain and having like an eagle's perspective, like an eagle's view of this whole landscape. And when you're up that high and you can see so far, things are very clear, you know, that you're not kind of stuck in the weeds. You kind of have this beautiful, wide view of this land. So I'm going to have this as my mountain of wisdom, where I can stand high up to understand things. So there's my little mountain of wisdom. And then we can think, what other things do we feel? So maybe some parts of us feel scared. Maybe there's parts of us every day that maybe it's like baby fear, like we worry, or maybe it's anxiety, like a constant, like a song of worry playing constantly, or maybe it's fear, like maybe it's genuine big feeling. So I'm going to represent that as maybe a rabbit on the edge of a dark wood. So and this rabbit is feeling really worry more than fear. So there's a big wood and the rabbit's just come to the edge, and there's a field with lots of tall grasses in it and some nice flowers. And the rabbit does want to go out and eat, wants to go out and have her breakfast, but she's worried that she might not be safe. So she's kind of looking around a little bit to go, am I safe? Her little nose twitching. So that's how I imagine a feeling of worry, just a little alert and worried. And then maybe we should have a part of my land that is anger. Dun, dun, dun. So, anger, when I feel angry, it feels a little bit like fire inside me. It's a little bit like being on fire. So I'm going to represent this part as a part of the landscape where kind of a flame creature lives. There's something that is a great, fiery, angry creature lives. So there's my little fire creature with a cranky, frowny face. Anger. And what's important is that the anger belongs just as much as peace. My job is just to figure out how to take care of all these. And there's part of me that loves being with people. So I'm going to draw a part of me that has lots of people around. And so I wrote belonging underneath it, kind of how I feel when I'm with lots of people, lovely feeling of belonging. So sometimes if I feel maybe sad, I might not visit the part of my landscape that's, loves hanging out with people. Sometimes when I feel sad, I want to be on my own. But it's why it's really good for me to remember this part of my landscape gives me a lot of happiness. But actually, I need to remember I love belonging. I love belonging. And it might take me a little effort to walk over to this part, but it's a good thing to do. So belonging, maybe something around happiness. So happiness might be a field of lovely flowers and maybe a lovely stream. Maybe there's a nice stream in the field with happy fish. So here's my lovely flowers and a little stream with fish jumping out of it. And that's an area that's happy. And then what else do we need in this land? Maybe we need something that's really scared, because sometimes we feel really scared, right? So what might that look like in my landscape? Feeling of being really scared. So what I'm thinking of is the way sometimes when we're scared we run away or we move really quickly, but sometimes we stay very still. Sometimes we're so scared that we actually don't move at all. So that's what I'm thinking of for the part of my land that is feeling scared. So I'm going to tell it as a story where there was once a creature who could move happily through this landscape, and they got scared, but they felt so scared that they turned into a stone. They stayed still for so long. So I'm going to do a lovely big old stone. So there's my ancient scaredy rock. And the great thing about our landscape is that it changes all the time. So, maybe the scaredy rock has been a scaredy rock for 2,000 years or 5,000 years, for a long, long time. But that doesn't mean it can't be something else, because it was something else before it became a rock. It was something else before it rooted down into the ground, because its feeling of being scared got so strong. So when we can take care of our feeling of being scared, it might move again someday. We don't know. So this is a lot, I think, for me to be getting on with. So this is the kind of land that I'm trying to be a good ruler of. So I'm trying to work out how to make sure I spend enough time going up onto the mountain to get a nice clear look so that I can have wisdom, to take time to walk along the seashore to feel peace, to take care of my worry, my little rabbit at the edge, and to try and understand what might help the rabbit when it feels worried. Because the worst thing I can do is just ignore it or tell it, oh, don't be so stupid, silly rabbit. Like, that's not kind. So I want to understand how I can care for my feeling of worry so that the rabbit doesn't grow into an enormous rabbit of worry. That the rabbit can feel worry, but can know that it's cared for. So that it's not the only thing that I feel. And then, so feeling happy helps me to balance feeling worried, to remember all the different things that make me feel happy. Feeling angry, this kind of anger being, this fiery anger being, can be enormous if I don't take care of my anger, can be huge. So that's something that I really pay attention to, so my anger doesn't get too strong. I want my anger to be well cared for, not ignored, because when you ignore it, it gets enormous. That's no good. It's no good for this land, because what about the belonging space? They would just all catch fire. So the belonging, the scared. So I learn how to take care of all these different parts of me and offer each of them the wisdom and the care that they need just as they are. And the most important thing is that they all belong. They're all part of me. So I'm not trying to get rid of my great fire creature. What I'm trying to do is to understand it so that I can really take care of it as a wise ruler. And that is the land of me today. So I wish you much happy exploring and map making. Creating a land of us can really help us to understand what's alive in us right now. And over time, when we do it, we start to realize the bits of us that we ignore or that we just don't like. So it really helps us to allow every part of us to belong. That's a very healing thing to do. So thank you so much for practicing together. We are going to listen to a sound of the bell together to close our space today. So we're going to listen with our ears and our hands. Beautiful. Thank you so much for exploring this land of you together. And if you have any questions or comments, just add them in online. What's important about the land of you is that every part belongs. You know, and sometimes when we feel very sad or very angry, we think, oh, if only if that part of us would just fall away into the sea and I never had to look at that again. But actually, we need every part of us in order to be a whole human being. So there is a gift in every part of us, and our job is to kind of befriend every part of us so that we can understand all the different parts. Here is a little piece. Here is a piece that I wrote about the land of you, which might be nice. It might give you some inspiration while you're doing your art. And it's called, There's a Lot of Me to Get to Know. This land of me has a lot going on. It doesn't stay the same for more than 15 steps. I've counted. I've travelled across smooth, undulating fields of velvety loveliness and picked my way through the bumpy, careful you don't trip parts. I've scaled a high mountain peak and found myself eye to eye with an eagle. I've journeyed across vast plains, which look kind of samey until you look really close up. I paused at a tiny burrow for one tucked at the huge root of an ancient tree deep in an ancient forest, and I had some berries there, which were yummy. Part of this land is filled with song, where the thing to do is dance and whoop like nobody's looking. And in me, there is a quiet clearing by a wide, still lake, where so much silence hangs in the air that your ears fill up with its no noise. I've been underground in the deep, dark, labyrinthy caves that led me through strange places to meet extraordinary creatures who thought they'd been forgotten. And I've stood beneath torrential waterfalls and traced their path to where they transform and become something else, and then become something else again, twizzling a winding, curvy way to the long, wavy seashore, which is another place that I love. Parts of me are soft and snuggly, and some parts make me giggle. Some parts growl. There are places that have sharp teeth, and creatures that whirl around like a tornado, or sit feeling heavy and maybe a bit lost. Some parts are super friendly, and other parts don't have visitors so often, and that's just how they like it. There are parts that grow bigger every 4 minutes, and others that prefer not to do anything that quickly. And there are high up places that always stay up late to gaze up at the moon and stars and wonder. It's a lot to be in charge of. I'm learning to be a kind, wise ruler. I'm getting to know my land and all the creatures that live here, the great to nap areas and the dangerous parts where it's better to keep your eyes wide open. And what I notice is that as I understand more about this land of me, with its wild and tame terrains, I can see how all the different parts can help each other hold each other and create a space where we can receive the exact care we need and be ourselves, just exactly, precisely, perfectly as we are. So I wish you much happy getting to know the land of you, and remember that every part of you belongs. And our job as kind, wise rulers, that we're learning to be kind, wise rulers in training, is to learn how to befriend each part so that we get to recognize every part of the map and that we learn just how to take care of it really well. Thank you so much for practicing together. Bye-bye.